custom theme within OpenChat. So recently we reskinned the app, and most people seem to love it, but obviously we can never please everyone, so we thought it'd be nice if we provided a reasonably easy way to plug in community developed themes so that people can make it look to some degree just how they would like it to look. So this is OpenChat running locally on my machine, and we can see that from our user profile here we've got the usual light and dark themes, which we'll continue to curate and support and make sure they always work. But now we've added this extra bit beneath here where we can have a list of community developed themes, and we've created a couple just to get you started. So we've got a white theme, since some people think there's a bit too much blue in our light theme, so if you want it a bit more plain, then maybe this is the one for you. And this more wacky one, just to show what you can achieve. So it's not going to be comprehensive. I'm going to assume some knowledge about source control, and I'm not going to go into great depths about how to get OpenChat running locally, but I just want to show you the code steps, at least, that need to be taken to get this to work. So let's go into the code. Just to orient yourself in the code base, this change is going to be restricted to the front end app, source, theme, and most of our time is going to be spent in community, okay? Because these are the community themes, submarine and white. There's some instructions in a README file here which you can have a look at. So broadly speaking, our theme is defined by this type in this types file. And we can see that a theme needs to have a unique name and a label, and then there are just a bunch of properties controlling various aspects of the user interface. So the general principle here is that we have the built-in themes, light and dark, and they specify various values for all of the UI elements that we need to style. And what we're going to be doing is taking one of these other existing themes, and it can be the built-in ones, dark or light, or any other custom theme. And we're going to use that as the basis for creating a new one. And to do that, we just need to create a new file in here within the community directory, which represents our new theme. Let's call it Night Vision. We'll do one similar to Submarine, but we'll make it kind of greeny. So the easiest thing to do here is to take one of the other ones and just copy and paste everything that's in there. Okay. One thing we definitely need to so let's just take a look at this. What we have is a function called getTheme, and it takes an existing theme and returns a new theme. The theme that you're going to be passed is already a mutable clone, so you don't need to worry about creating a new theme. You can simply modify the one that's been passed in. So first things first, we need a unique name, otherwise we'll have clashes with the existing ones, so we'll call it that, and we'll do the same with a capital N for the label. The label is what we'll see in the drop-down list. Let's just leave everything else as it is to start with. This is be a direct copy of the Submarine theme so far. So as it stands, we aren't going to see anything in the list except for the ones we've already got. So we've got some wiring that needs to be done to get this to take effect, and that's done inside this themes file. You can see here we have a list called community themes. And that's where we're going to need to add our new one. First thing to do is to import it. So let's copy one of these import statements, call it get. That's our import. And we could choose to base it also off the dark theme, or we could, if we wanted, base it off the light theme, or any of the other custom themes as well. But let's just do the same thing we've done for this one first. So we see we're calling our getTheme function and we're passing in a clone of the dark theme. The reason we're cloning it is so that we can freely mutate it without affecting the dark theme. And that, on its own, should be enough for us to get to see that theme in the front end. Just wait for the build process to kick in. So now we see our new theme in the list. And as you might expect, it's a direct copy of the submarine theme at the moment. So let's say we wanted to change a few things. We may wish to a different gradient. So we're going to go greeny. So let's see what that looks like. So I'm just using a tool here to generate a radial gradient. So that might look nice. And so the rest of our time will just be spent tweaking this file. That's all we really need to do. And then just wait for the build to take effect, and we should see what that looks like. Hey presto, we've got the green background now. Now, we can now go through all of these properties, and we can just switch it up and until we get something that we're happy with. Note that since I've copied the submarine theme, I'm only seeing listed here the things that the submarine theme chose to override. I want to see the complete list. Reminder that the type for the theme is defined in this types file. So this, you can see all of the things here that you can control. So I mean, it is quite involved, and it is going to take some effort for you to come up with something nice, but you get there in the end if you persevere with it. One obvious question is, how do you know which bits of the user interface are controlled by these properties? Okay, so the way we do that is to use CSS variables, and we have this nested object structure, and each one of these leaf nodes in this structure will be converted to a CSS variable, and it will have a name that is concatenation of all of its ancestor properties. So say take this collapsible closed header text, that will end up being a CSS variable called collapsible closed header text. Okay, so that's what you want to be looking out for. And if you want to check which property to change, let's say I want to change the color of this button. I go inspect it, and I click on the button, Now looking at the styles here, I can see there are two styles that are relevant. Button, BG, BG standing for background, and button text. Okay, so a nice way to play around with this is to click the little colour thing within the Chrome DevTools, and we know that for this sort of greeny theme we're going to want this to be a greeny colour, a bit darker, something like that, and then you can just copy it from there, go back into our theme, find button, change the background to that new colour. Now I happen to know that when we hover over a button we want it to go slightly darker, so I will just dim that down a bit more and use that. Oh, that's refreshed on me. Dim that down a little bit more for the hover colour. So we get a nice effect when we hover over buttons. And you can, as you can see, when I've changed that button colour, some other UI elements have also changed colour, and the whole thing ends up looking harmonious quite quickly. And that, the way to achieve that is to find UI elements that you think should be the same as each other and actually reuse the values from the theme. So I can see here that the members list hover should be the same as the chat summary hover. So rather than defining the same colour in lots of different places, you can try to achieve some reuse like that, and that will help you create a consistent theme more quickly. One of the key things we probably need to sort out here is our text colour. So let's get that sorted. So we just basically walk up the hierarchy until we see that text variable. Where is it? Oh, it's coming right from the body here, so we can just... So that's our root level text colour. Again, we'll just do it by eye. We want it to pop from the background. We don't want it too bright. Something like that. And that's probably going to be one which we'll use in a few places, so again I'm using variables to control that here. Let's see what effect that has. So that's nice, that's taken care of our icons and our main text. We also have a sort of muted text concept that occurs in most of our themes, and that's what this text light colour is. So we want that to be probably a sort of lighter variant, often an opacity is a sort of suitable approach here. Let's try that. So we're going to create a light variant of our text. It's just the same colour but knocked back the opacity so it's slightly see-through. And already we're getting somewhere fairly close to something which looks reasonable. See, we've got slightly red borders on things. Don't really want that. So that's controlled by a overall variable called --bd, which is the border. So again, we want a slightly lighter green for that, which looks pretty good as it is. And let's maybe take one more thing, which is the accent color, and that's what's going to control things like the pinned messages icon and the unread messages bubble. And we want that to stand out a little bit. Probably we don't want it to stand out too much on a sort of muted, dark theme like this, but let's have a little look and see what might look good. So we can see that these permissions pills are defined by this accent color as well, so that's a nice way. I think maybe something kind of yellowy. And there we go. So obviously you can go as far with this as you like. We'll need to navigate around the UI a little bit to see what effect you've had, and you will need to get familiar with the various aspects of the theme to really make something that looks nice. But it's quite fun, and hopefully we can come up with some nice themes and people can collaborate and fine-tune them as we go forward. So let's assume I'm happy with this. If I'm happy, I would want to create a branch for my theme, and then I would just commit it, push it upstream, and create a pull request back into the OpenChat repository. I'm not going to go into huge detail on that, but once we receive a pull request, then we can review the theme, make sure that mechanically it works, maybe make some suggestions about bits of the UI that we might not have covered that might be important, and get it merged in, and then other people will be able to see it. And if this feature proves to be something people enjoy, and maybe we can start to make more of a thing of it, allow people to rate other people's themes, and so that high quality themes will rise to the top. Yeah, that would be a nice way for us to allow people to customize the look and feel of the tool. So I hope that's useful, and I hope people create something cool. I'm looking forward to seeing what you come up with.